You're being suspended and put on temporary leave pending the outcome of the FBI's investigation into Gary Borders.
And what about managing partner?
I'm sorry. The offer has been rescinded again.
You son of a bitch. This is exactly what you wanted, isn't it?
Andi.
I don't want to hear another word from your lying, scheming ass mouth.
Well, I know. Well, you know what? No. This isn't a Fatima related topic, but I feel like maybe there'll be some naysayers once I, speak my piece on this. This isn't a complaint. On the one hand, I'm actually happy about how this turned out because you know me. If you've been on this channel, you know me. I'm a person that likes it when a character faces consequences for their actions. Like with Zach, people are like, I don't want Michael to be his son. And I'm thinking, it's great that Zach is trying to turn over a new leaf. And I'm referencing like, season 4 or season 5 of Sistas, when Zach was really trying to, well, debatably season 3 is when it started. But I want to say season 4 because at that point, Zach was really, really, really trying his best to be a better man for Fatima than he was with Karen. And he was trying to be loyal instead of just sleeping around with random women anytime he and his significant other were going through something of a rough patch. And he just came into money as well. But just because you change yourself in the present to ensure a better future for yourself and those around you, or those closest to you, or whatever, that does not mean things from your past don't, just get magically erased. It's just like in movies where a villain, or the antagonist is guilty of a bunch of crimes or kills a bunch of people. Even if they get redeemed at the end or change their ways, that doesn't change the fact that you've hurt people. Even if it was just indirectly, like, oh, you killed so-and-so's mom, but guess what? You killed their mom. So they're going to have to live with the pain of their mom no longer being there. And that person could have been someone's sister or daughter, and you just freaked up the whole dynamic. So for you to just go about your future with no cares or concerns, that doesn't mean you didn't leave a path of death and destruction or dysfunction in your wake. There have to be consequences. Now, my biggest argument for the past season or two has been Andi not deserving partner status, even though technically she became partner in season 2, but we're just going to forget about that. I've always said that Hayden, say what you will about him, because he has a lot of faults. But at the end of the day, him as a person and his work performance and his reputation in Atlanta doesn't do damage to the firm the same way that Andi does. Because that's been one of my biggest things. Look at how many times this woman has put the firm in jeopardy. Yes, she has brought a lot of positive things to the firm. Like, let's be real here. At the end of the day, it really boils down to money. Big budget clients. She's done that. But she's also been on the verge. And look, let's be real here. All of it started due to a scheme where she was a pawn. But Jasmine threatened to sue the law firm. And from there, she was put on, she was like temporarily terminated or whatever. And then, of course, recently we had the season 7. Yeah, I think it was season 7 towards the beginning. Gary being investigated by the feds. And then due to contracts where Robin and the firm kind of went into a joint venture with the hedge fund company, the feds came to the law firm too. And I can go on and on and on, but Andi has put herself in situations where it's like, beware the company you keep. And it's like, what's that saying? You lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas. The proximity she had, or let's be real, still has to Gary is affecting her in multiple ways. This clip is only about 3 minutes long. Andi makes her triumphant return to the law firm. This could be from the mid-season finale. I think this is from the mid-season finale. Because Robin mentions that, I guess in episode 10, that he doesn't think it's a good idea for her to come back to work. And the leave from work was voluntarily. But there's a huge meeting going on with Robin and all the partners when she's arrived, because she comes back. Fatima's excited and it's like, oh, where's Hayden? I came out the elevator. I was waiting for his greasy face to be here. And Fatima mentions that, oh, I mentioned his like buy a wife for $1 or whatever, dollar store wife, and he just flew off and ran for the hills. So I wonder if that's in reference to, the Tamara thing, and he knows that like something's up with that, or could be alluding to the video. And he ran, so he's not here. So they noticed the meeting, and Andy's like, Robin didn't say anything. And Fatima's like, yeah, there go that sneaky stuff I was telling you about. And I'm like, So all the partners come out. Andy's like, what's going on? And the main partner, I forget his name, even though Andy mentions it in the clip. And he's like, Andy, I'm so sorry. And, and then he's like, what? Is anybody going to tell me what's going on? And I want to be completely, transparent here. And I think you can see it too. This is happening out in the open. They're standing next to the stairwell. All these people have, offices with glass doors, so they can see and most likely hear the commotion. So Robin comes out, and apparently it's nighttime. So because kind of like, Babyface's brothers in the group After 7, Robin's like, shouldn't you be heading home from work right now? And Fatima's like, well, actually, I'm going to be here as long as Andy needs me, since she just came back to the office. And, Andy's like, hey, and I actually like this. She's like, no. You go home to Zach and Michael. I can handle this myself. And I will admit, I like this because, that way Andy, is this one of the few times? Well, no, actually last week she said the same thing when Fatima volunteered to be at the penthouse when Jordan and Penelope came over. But Andy said, I got this. And, Fatima says she's going to leave, but just call me if you need me. I'll bring my other bag. And Robin's like, oh, you put your gun back in it that I gave to you? And then she walked off. So, simply put, this meeting is in reference to the fact that the firm thinks it best that at least until the investigation of the attempted murder of Gary Borders is closed, Andi is forced to be on leave. And on top of that, she's no longer in the running for managing partner. Andi then proceeds to slap him in the face and call him an SOB. Let me reiterate. They're in the area that is right in front of the stairwell. A bunch of people can see what's going on with their glass door and window offices. And she slaps the owner of the firm and calls him an SOB to his face. Now, granted, could this be Robin's reaction to what goes down when he comes over to the penthouse and sees Gary there? And maybe, Robin is in its feelings because he can kind of feel that Andi is still, emotionally tethered to Gary, despite the fact that a few episodes ago, technically I'm still dating Jordan and, we're friends. So maybe he'll look at this as like, oh, okay. So you couldn't kiss me because you're still technically dating Jordan, despite the fact that you're still technically engaged to Gary. But okay, all right. So maybe he decided to, kind of get back at Andi by talking to the partners and getting her removed from the firm. And if that's the case, bravo. I ain't gonna lie. I think that's pretty cool. It's cold. It's, ruthless. It's petty. I like it. Look, I know Robin is getting a bad rap this season, especially how he handled Fatima earlier this season. And like for me, I like the shakeup. It's something different. I like having the characters on the back foot because it's something we don't really see that often. Because like Hudson said, hey, he's a slimy SOB himself, but he made a good point. You know what, Andi? It's kind of funny. Anybody who deals with Andrea Barnes typically has their life left in turmoils, flames, and everything they build up reduced to ashes. Yet you seem to always walk away scot-free without a scratch on you. And that is so true. I mean, let's be real here. I think Sabrina still holds the crown of being the queen of playing the victim, but Andi does the same thing. I mean, how many times have we seen this where she'll use people for either sex or, I don't know, anything to do to move her ahead on her path to power. But as soon as she's done with them, that's it. Because I can't help but remember how she treated Robin in season 5. I think season 5 was his last season before he came back this season. Basically, Hayden anonymously sent the email to Robin about Andi sleeping with the janitor, aka Paris, who, if I remember correctly, his grandmother, who was then rewritten to be his mother. They own like the custodial servicing company that came to the law firm to clean it up, and they had sex that one night in season 2. Robin confronted Andi about this, and then started treating her as coldly as Hayden was treating Fatima this season. Then he talked to Paris. He denied any sort of, thing that he and Andi had in the past. Then Robin tries to apologize to Andi. She doesn't want to hear it for several episodes. It wasn't until he said that he could try to help out Sabrina that she even decided to give him the time of day. And then even after putting himself out there by trying to get favors and calling people so Andi could help out with Sabrina and Maurice in their situation, she still was giving him the cold shoulder until Robin, do you have $1.5 million? And then after he put up the money, all of a sudden they were seemingly on good terms again. But then, of course, you had the Gary and Hayden plot of trying to usurp him from the company. Remember, this was that dumb storyline where Gary was still at the penthouse, and I remember that one morning he went to take a shower, and this happened like twice, where Andi saw some contract or paperwork on Gary, either in a desk or in his coat pocket, and she just took out the letter and just spent like 5 minutes on screen skimming it with her eyes. And I'm thinking to myself, you could just get your phone out and take a picture and put the paper back. Like, what's up with this? And basically, it's like, wait, so you did your quick, your Cliff Notes version of skimming the contracts, and you put 2 and 2 together that Gary's trying to do some shady stuff. And she even told him the next morning, it's like, Gary, baby, I know you're trying to shake things up over at the law firm, but I need you to not do it. What, to save your boy Robin? No, because I'm in running for partner, and if you screw it up, I'm going to be very upset. And she never divulged this information to Robin. And it wasn't until this man needed like $3 million or something, and the only thing that Andi could do was like hand him over to a loan shark. And after that point, she was done with him. That's how Andi operates. But lo and behold, when her consequences come back to bite her, does she opt to like call someone out of their name? It's like, oh, you think I'm a whore, but you can call somebody an SOB and slap them, huh? I mean, this is what happens. And I always said, Andi's bad reputation is bad for the firm. Yes, you can bring in as many clients as you want to, but guess what? If the reputation of your firm is bringing down the company, you're gone. Look at present day. Look at present day. See what I mean when I do videos on the sneak peeks and I go on tangents like this? This is why my episode reviews really aren't that long, because I talk about the meat and potatoes during these videos, which I find kind of fun. Look at how we move in today's, time where if allegations come out on anyone, so let's just be real, specifically men. Whenever men get hit with allegations of, any sort of abuse or inappropriate behavior with a person, if they're the CEO of a company, if they're a famous artist, like let's say a musical artist or an actor, if they have a movie project or some appearances coming up, if those allegations start trending, they're taken off. Musical artists, they got a concert tour, they're going to make an appearance on a talk show, it's gone. So basically, if you're not good for the brand, you're going to be cut off. And even if, let's say the allegations are, proven to be false or whatnot, yeah, you might get back on track. But either way, the companies will still disassociate themselves with somebody if they feel that it's going to mess up, the overall goal, which is making money. Andi is that same person. Yes, you bring in a lot of money via your clients and whatnot, but at the end of the day, hey. So also, if Marie has something to do with the stabbing and whatnot, I don't know. I don't think she would let Andi go through this. But then again, I don't really know if she's been following any of the activity that's been going on in the law firm. So, because Marie did tell Andi she would do something about it. She'll handle it. Don't worry. So I don't think she would bother allowing Andi to be put on leave and go through this investigation, because remember, that's her, ace attorney, and she's the only reason she's doing business at the firm. So if Andi's position of being partners put in jeopardy, and if Marie did have something to do with the stabbing and whatnot, I feel like she would have handled it by now. So I think Marie is kind of low on the totem pole now as the person who had something to do with Gary's stabbing. Well, yeah. She slaps Robin in the face, and I'm just sitting here like, really? Like, this is what you wanted, didn't you? Didn't you? And then when he tries to, I guess, explain himself, Andi doesn't want to hear this, says, hey, good luck running this firm into the ground. And then she leaves, and that's the end of the clip. But, yeah, it's kind of crazy how, that energy, I mean, you let Penelope slap the taste out of your mouth. And I was talking with somebody about this earlier before I started doing this video, that this really reminds me of the Chris Rock and Will Smith situation, that the comparisons and similarities are there, where you have someone who, I don't know, deal with ridicule from so many sources for so long on social media, podcasts, YouTube videos, whatnot, especially during the post Red Table Talk. Yet you got this person who tells a joke on stage and gets slapped in the face. And I mean, there are people who said and did way worse to both you and Jada over the past year or two, yet he's the one who gets slapped. And then when you look at the Andi situation, it's like she's slapping everyone but the person who deserves the slap the most. I mean, you slap Hudson for running his mouth about Robin's D in, Andi's mouth. Now, to be fair, I don't mind this slap, because Hudson, remember, he physically grabbed Andi twice, I think in an episode or two prior to her, slapping him. So I didn't care about that. But in this situation, I'm just still baffled by the fact that you are in a professional setting. And I mean, Robin could fire her for this, not just temporarily put her on leave because the, firm decided, but you slap. Imagine you go to your job, and let's say that you're not put on leave, but let's just say something else happens, like someone rejects your overtime or, your vacation time request or something like that, and you get pissed off and you slap that employee. I'm not even talking about the person in charge of the firm, or excuse me, your job. I mean, like, the company you work at. I mean, just like someone in lower management, you can get fired. And I hate to go this route, but it just seems like it feeds into the negative stereotype about black women being unruly and, angry all the time and whatnot. And this slap, to me, does nothing to alleviate that stereotype. Because it's kind of like, and this is another comparison here, but the best man, the final chapter is when, is it Robin? Look, it's been a while, but Nia Long's character, isn't her name Robin? Basically, I know that in the two films, she worked at like a news station or something, and then I believe she was given a promotion to like the head of the news station that she worked at. Like, she got this huge promotion, and she was like the person in charge, and it wasn't satisfying. Like, the job didn't satisfy her. And in the midst of this huge, board meeting or whatever, she just gets up and quits. Like, they were in the thick of it. Like, it was a huge business proposal or something that needed to be made, and she just up and quits. Walks down the street, takes off her scarf and waves it up in her in the air, or tossed in the air like she's Mandy Moore, not Mandy Moore, but what's her face? That Mary Tyler Moore. That girl, I believe is the name of the show. And you know how the theme song's like, I'm gonna make it after all. Then she throws her hand in the air in the freeze frame. And it's like, Nia Long character did that. I did not like this. I mean, I get it. It was supposed to be empowering and, you know, oh, Robin opted to quit. And then I think she was going to start her own network or something. I forgot. But I just looked at it from the perspective of, I thought that was kind of not a good look, because think about how few black people, black women especially, make it into a position of power like this. And then the fact that you just up and quit, it almost makes it seem like the company would be reluctant to put another person of color in charge, because how do they know? It's like, you know, the last black person we put in charge is up and left in the middle of a huge, you know, decision-making process. How do we know you're not going to do the same thing? So I don't know. I just felt some kind of way about Andi slapping Robin like this. Yet the person who deserved all the smoke, she didn't slap, Penelope. And yes, I know in the moment Jordan got in between them, but there were plenty of opportunities where she could have got that slap back, like the freaking hospital, but didn't. So those are my thoughts. I just feel like when it comes to Andi, she is finally facing some consequences. Now, is Robin doing this out of pettiness? I got to see how episode 10 goes first. And not to mention, I believe that while Andi goes to the parking lot, she gets jumped. So this clip, I believe, is from episode 11, the mid-season finale. And this clip dropped around noon or 1 o'clock. So I think those are all the clips we're getting, unless we get one like at 7:30 tonight. Because I do know we'll get some promotional pictures, but that's about it. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.